Leonardo DiCaprio has done it again. In the middle of a press run for his latest film, One Battle After Another, the 50-year-old Oscar winner casually dropped a remark that has everyone talking. He joked that he is the opposite of Tom Cruise. At first, it sounds lighthearted. But peel back the layers, and that statement becomes a fascinating window into not just DiCaprio's career, but also the broader story of what it means to be a movie star in 2025. Let's start with the immediate context. One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, is one of the most anticipated films of the year. DiCaprio plays what he describes as a washed-up revolutionary, a man broken by his past, fumbling through his present, and unable to live up to the myth of who he once was. This is not a glamorous part. It's not slick, heroic, or larger than life. Instead, it's raw, messy, deeply human, the kind of role that DiCaprio has become famous for taking on. And that's exactly why he brought up Tom Cruise. In his words, his character does everything wrong. He stumbles, he falters, he fails. And if Cruise is known for doing everything right, hanging onto airplanes, scaling skyscrapers, timing every stunt to perfection, then DiCaprio is deliberately embracing the opposite. He's leaning into imperfection. Now, why does this matter so much? Because Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Cruise are two of the last true movie stars, and they represent completely different philosophies of acting. Cruise embodies the daredevil action hero. For nearly 4 decades, he has headlined some of Hollywood's most adrenaline-packed films, from Top Gun in 1986 to the still-running Mission Impossible series. He is famous not just for his charisma, but for doing his own stunts, often risking his life to entertain audiences. DiCaprio, meanwhile, has built his career around complexity and vulnerability. He doesn't do franchises. He doesn't play superheroes. He rarely even plays traditional heroes. Instead, he disappears into flawed characters, men undone by greed, obsession, trauma, or self-destruction. His stunts are emotional. He puts his body through hell for roles like Hugh Glass in The Revenant, but it's always in service of raw authenticity, not spectacle. So when he says he's the opposite of Tom Cruise, it's both a joke and a profound truth. He's acknowledging that his lane in Hollywood is not about physical perfection or invincible heroes. It's about portraying failure and humanity. But to fully appreciate the weight of this remark, let's rewind. Let's look at how both men have shaped cinema across the decades. Tom Cruise burst onto the scene in the early 80s with Risky Business. By the mid-80s, Top Gun made him a global superstar, cementing him as the face of American heroism. Through the 90s, he proved he could do both blockbuster action, like Mission Impossible, and prestige drama, with films like Jerry Maguire, A Few Good Men, and Magnolia. By the 2000s, Cruise doubled down on action, transforming himself into the modern-day stunt king. And now, even in his 60s, he continues to headline Mission Impossible, each film upping the stakes with more dangerous stunts. Leonardo DiCaprio's trajectory couldn't be more different. He broke out in the early 90s with What's Eating Gilbert Grape, proving his dramatic chops as a teenager. Then came Romeo plus Juliet and, of course, Titanic in 1997, the film that catapulted him to global fame. But instead of cashing in with easy blockbusters, DiCaprio made a different choice. He teamed up with directors like Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino, and now Paul Thomas Anderson. He focused on prestige films, often dark and challenging, from The Aviator to Inception to The Wolf of Wall Street. He famously avoided superhero franchises, even turning down roles in comic book films. For him, acting has always been about the craft, the transformation, the immersion into flawed humanity. This brings us back to the present. When DiCaprio jokes about being the opposite of Tom Cruise, he's really pointing out the two paths that stardom can take. On one path, you have the clean, disciplined, heroic perfection of a Cruise. On the other, you have the messy, emotional, deeply human performances of a DiCaprio. Both paths work. Both still draw audiences. But they couldn't be more different. And fans love it. On social media, Reactions to his remark exploded. Memes contrasted Cruise running at full speed across rooftops with DiCaprio's characters stumbling through mud or collapsing in exhaustion. Some fans joked that Cruise is the hero you want in a crisis, while DiCaprio is the man you'd want to tell your life story. Others noted that DiCaprio's characters are brave in a different way, not by defying gravity, but by baring their souls. Critics, too, have weighed in. Some see this as DiCaprio's way of embracing middle age on screen. He's no longer the young heartthrob of Titanic. He's not trying to reinvent himself as an action star. Instead, he's leaning into the messiness of aging, of being imperfect, of portraying characters who reflect real human flaws. That, in itself, is courageous. And this matters in the bigger picture, because in today's Hollywood, dominated by franchises and CGI-driven spectacle, audiences crave authenticity. Tom Cruise offers authenticity through his stunts, no green screens, no body doubles, just him risking his life for your entertainment. Leonardo DiCaprio offers authenticity through his characters, flawed, broken, painfully real. Together, they show two ways movie stars can still matter in a world where the star system is fading. Now let's talk about the film itself, one battle after another. This is a Paul Thomas Anderson project, and whenever Anderson directs, the film world pays attention. Known for his meticulous storytelling and complex characters, Anderson is one of the most respected filmmakers alive. Pairing him with DiCaprio is a dream for cinephiles. The role of a washed-up revolutionary feels tailor-made for DiCaprio's strengths. It allows him to dig deep into failure, to explore the psychology of someone haunted by what they couldn't achieve. And with co-star Benicio del Toro, expectations are sky-high. The fact that DiCaprio said yes to this film also reveals something about his current mindset. At 50, he has admitted he's slowing down, choosing only projects that truly inspire him. He's not chasing quantity, he's chasing legacy. And this project, under Anderson's direction, is exactly the kind of film that could define his later career. Contrast that with Cruise, who continues to push himself physically at 62, topping each stunt with the next. Cruise is focused on proving that age is just a number, that he can still do what no other actor dares to do. DiCaprio, meanwhile, is focused on depth, on legacy, on telling stories that will stand the test of time. Both are fighting battles, but in very different arenas. And here's something fascinating. Both actors, despite their differences, share one trait. They are uncompromising. Cruise refuses to hand over his stunts to doubles. DiCaprio refuses to hand over his career to franchises. Both take risks, but in their own lanes. That's why their careers have endured when so many of their peers have faded. So as we look ahead to One Battle After Another's release on 26 September 2025, DiCaprio's remark feels less like a joke and more like a mission statement. He's reminding audiences of who he is, what he stands for, and why he's not trying to compete with Tom Cruise, because he doesn't need to. Hollywood thrives on variety. Sometimes, we want the impossible spectacle of Cruise. Other times, we want the flawed vulnerability of DiCaprio. And as long as both keep delivering, cinema is in good hands. So yes, Leonardo DiCaprio is the opposite of Tom Cruise. And that's exactly why we need both of them. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.